sure?
I am positive.
Why are you so sure?
Because y is in the beginning.
Because it's y squared minus x squared?
Yeah.
Okay, I would agree with that. What's up, Cal? -2, -5 is not the center. -5, comma, -2 is the center, yes. Because we got to go with x's. Hey now. What else do we know?
A is going to be 4.
A is 4. B is 2. Yeah.
So, I found the test that says A equals B equals we have to do the square root of what it is.
Explain why
Because I thought A.
What, Wesley?
why is A 4?
Because A is underneath the x squared. In hyperbolas. In ellipses, a squared is the biggest number. In hyperbolas, a squared is underneath the x squared term.
I know I did wrong. Okay, so it's not just you have to.
Okay. That allows us to draw in our box. That allows us to draw in our asymptotes. That allows us to find our vertices. One of them is at -5, comma 0. The other one is at -5, comma -4. I'm saving the equations of the asymptotes until I can scroll down just a little bit more. Okay. C, square root of 20. Do I like the square root of 20? No.
Is it
2 square roots of 5.
Real quick question.
What's up?
So the vertices are always short.
No. Depends on your direction of opening.
Okay. No, you're right. They're always like on the side that's open.
Because the hyperbola actually goes through the vertex.
When you write this,
Full side?
Full side, do you want them in like that form? Or do you want them in that?
Well, it doesn't matter. So in this particular case, the foci would be at, since it's opening up and down, the foci would be at -5, comma -2 plus 2 square roots of 5, and -5, comma -2 minus 2 square roots of 5, which 2 square roots of 5 is what? 4.5-ish, somewhere in that range. Okay, so that could also be, I could also write it as -5, comma 2.5 and -5, comma -6.5. With me?
You'd be okay with either or?
Either or.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you, please go through how you would simplify radicals? Because I have no idea how you do that. No idea.
Square root of 20
Okay?
is the square root of 4 times the square root of 5. Now I picked 4 and 5 and not 2 and 10 because the square root of 4 is 2. Ding, 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 ding.
So do like 40, 42,
How about 42 doesn't have one?
30,
How about 48?
48.
Okay, so the square root of 48 is the square root of 16 times the square root of 3, which is 4 times the square root of 3. Now, what if you don't know that 16 times 3 is 48? What else is 40? It makes 48. 4 times 12 is a good one. So it's the square root of 4 times the square root of 12, right?
Correct.
Which is 2 times the square root of 12, right? But what times what is 12? 4 times 3. So this is 2 times the square root of 4 times the square root of 3, and the square root of 4 is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4 times the square root of 3. So we end up getting the exact same answer.
Thank you.
No problem.
Now,
Okay?
click the foci.
What about it?
I don't like. Where is it on the graph?
Right
That's
there.
That as well as always on the side.
That it opens.
Okay. Now, if I get the 2 times square root of 5 part, but what's with that subtract negative 2 plus?
Because the distance C is the distance from the center to the foci. So you have to start at the center and then go down in this case.
Okay, so you say center, whatever, okay.
For your foci.
Yeah.
Negative 2 and negative 2 to 4.
I start at the center and I went up and down from the center, so I'm changing the y of the center. If I'm going left and right from the center, I'm changing the x of the center. Okay? So the only thing we got left then is our asymptotes. Okay? So, what is the slope of our asymptotes?
2 over 2.
No.
2 over 4.
No. 1/2. Plus and minus 1/2 is the slope of our asymptotes. Okay? So, I use the center. Everything goes off the center. So that's going to be y plus 2 equals 1/2 times x plus 5. And y plus 2 equals negative 1/2 x plus 5. Using the point slope form, y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. Then, to make this look nice and pretty, I say, well, that's y plus 4/2 equals 1/2 x plus 5/2. Y plus 4/2 equals negative 1/2 x minus 5/2. Because I need to subtract 4/2 from both sides.
Could you minus this? Where'd you go over 2?
What's 4 over 2? 2. Okay, but I got to subtract 4/2 because this is 5/2. In order to subtract them, I got to have common denominators. Right. So this one is y equals 1/2 x plus 1/2. And this one is y equals negative 1/2 x minus 9/2. And those are my two estimates.
You don't want that, right?
I want them in y equals mx plus b form.
Yeah, but when you solve it, like if it's 2, you don't want
Fraction. I don't know if you picked up on this, buddy, but
like
fraction
you
kind
want
of
it
guy.
like 4 halves? Doesn't make no sense.
Well, no, 4/2 is because I got to subtract 2 from both sides, right?
Yeah.
But I can't subtract 2 from 5/2.
Then 2 and a half, 2 and a half.
Right. But what if it's something more complicated? Now I'm in common denominators and I can add and subtract fractions.
We don't do that anymore.
No, I don't care how you do it. I'm just telling you how I do it. Okay? By no means is my way the only way. Okay? Okay? Caitlin's probably going to use a calculator. And she's going to have a decimal.
Caitlin, too. Why am I going to use the calculator?
Because that's how you do.
That's what I do.
Yeah. Okay? Ready to try one on your own? Actually, no, tap the brakes. We just grabbed this one. Now we got to learn the last thing we got to learn from this section. Going in reverse. How to write the equation. Okay?
I already tried this on the assignment.
What's up? But you're not always going to have a graph.
Every single Friday, so we literally write.
Okay? So, what do you know? Walk me through what you know. You know the vertices. Okay? So where are the vertices? Right here and right there.
So the center is between
What do you mean the center's between?
the two.
What do you mean the center's between? Use the math term for me.
In the middle.
I mean the point?
Use the math term.
Equidistant.
Use it in math term.
What? What math term?
What is negative? No, it's not at negative 2 comma negative 5.
Negative 2 comma negative 4.
Negative 4, I'm sorry.
What,
Yeah, go
what do you
with it,
want?
One word. Starts with an M. Say it loud, dear. It's the midpoint. Okay? If you haven't realized yet that the center is the midpoint of the vertices in an ellipse or a hyperbola, you might want to write that down. Okay? So the center is the midpoint between those two. Okay? So we know that the vertices here are 0 comma negative 4 and the point negative 4 comma negative 4. And we just found then that the center, because it's the midpoint, the center is at negative 2 comma negative 4. Now, what do you also know?
Slope.
You know what? It's a left-right opening hyperbola. Why do you know that, Nat? The vertices are left and right of the center. Okay? Right? So it's got to open left and right. If the vertices were above and below the center, it would open up and down. Okay? What else do you know?
Slope.
Not yet. What? Why do you know A is 2? The vertices are on the left and the right side of my box, right? Because it's a left and the right opening. And so then you know that this distance is A. So A is 2. India, put it away. Now, to find B, there's a couple of different ways that you could go about doing it. You know that the slope of the asymptotes is 3 and negative 3, right? Okay. So you could say, well, I have to go up 3 and right 1 or left 1, but that doesn't get me to the side of my box, right? The side of my box is somewhere. Oops, I missed. Wrong side. Wrong place. Okay? The side of my box is somewhere along there. And somewhere along there. I'm not there yet. Okay? So I could go up 3 more and right 1 more, or up 3 more and left 1 more, and now I'm on that. Right? So I know that my box is there at least. Okay? which makes B be how much? Six. Okay? Now, another way of doing that is you know that the slope is plus or minus 3. Right? You also know that the slope is plus or minus b over a. You know that a was 2. What divided by 2 is 3? 6. So b has to be 6. A couple of different ways of going about figuring that. So then if you know that b is 6, 4, 2, 4, 6, so it comes all the way down here to the bottom of my box. Okay. So you got that. Can you find the equations of your asymptotes right away?
Yeah.
Why?
You have the interception.
Because the side of the box is on the y-axis, so you have the intercepts. Okay? So what are the two equations of the asymptotes? Oops. Marker on. Y equals 3x plus 2, and y equals negative 3x minus 10. Sure. You want to find the equation next, or do you want to find the foci next? Or do you want to draw it in? Do what? Equation? Okay. Is it going to be an x squared minus y squared or a y squared minus x squared?
X squared minus y squared.
It's going to be x squared minus y squared. So it's going to be x plus 2 quantity squared over 4 minus y plus 4 quantity squared over 36 equals 1. A lot of people on the last two formatives have forgotten the equals 1 part. If I'm asking for an equation, you got to have an equal sign. So it's got to equal something in there. Okay? So based off of that, now, what's my C? Is 40.
Square root of 40 is 2 times the square root of 10.
2 times the square root of 10. So that's a little bit more than 6, right? foci. So that's going to be at -2 plus 2 square roots of 10, comma, -4, and -2 minus 2 square roots of 10, comma, -4. Okay? In decimal, what's the square root of 40? Square root of 40 is what, 6.3-ish?
No clue.
6.3? Okay, so -2 plus 6.3 would be 4.3, comma, -4, and -2 minus 6.3 would be -8.3, comma, -4. Last thing we got to do is just gotta draw it in. Now, I did notice on a couple of formatives from yesterday that their hyperbolas went like this. So it came, you were good up to about here, and then you curved it out like a parabola. Okay? Remember that a hyperbola sucks along the asymptote. Okay? Okay. The asymptote sucks the hyperbola right in. Or as Trent says, hyperbolas just suck. Okay? Ready to try one on your own? Go for it. Alright, what do we know?
I can tell you.
We know the vertices.
The foci.
Okay, so the vertices are at 2, comma 5. So that's there. And 2, comma, -1. So that's there. And then my foci are what? Three, four, 5, 6. Not quite 6. Okay.
I got something.
What's up?
The center is
2, comma 2 is the center. What's up?
Can you put a quiz in the MRC tomorrow for me and Anna? We get excused at 1 in the classroom, so now we get
Wait, what do you mean?
Okay.
for prom. We get excused.
Which way is it open then?
Up and down.
Up and down. What else do you know? Well, so tell me what you know, Luke. B is 3. Yep. We know that B is 3 because B is here. And you know what? C is the square root of 34. C is here. Unless it's one it's separate. We know the foci. We know the vertices.
Do a. So to find A would be A plus 3 equals square root of 34.
No.
A squared, I mean. A squared plus 9.
I like a squared plus 9 equals, no. A squared plus 9 equals 34. So you get 5. Okay. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Do you understand that part?
Yeah.
Okay. What's 3 squared?
9.
That's where I got the 9 from. What's the square root of 34 squared?
34.
34. That's where I get that from, right? Okay. So subtract 9 from both sides. A squared equals 25. Take the square root of both sides. A is 5.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you know. Oops, that's bad. That's better. Okay. So all we need left is the equation of the asymptotes, right?
Correct.
What's the slope of the asymptotes? We got 3 over 5, right? Okay. So then that's going to be y minus 2 equals 3/5 times x minus 2 and y, oops, I don't know why I put that one in parentheses. Y, oops, now we went different color. Y minus 2 equals negative 3/5 times x minus 2. Y minus 10/5 equals 3/5 x minus 6/5. So y here equals 3/5 x plus 4/5. Y minus 10/5 equals negative 3/5 x plus 6/5. Y equals negative 3/5 x plus 16/5.
And if we have a decimal form, we'd be wrong, right?
Correct.
I have a question.
What's up?
How did you get y minus 2 and that whole equation? I don't know.
Point slope form of a line.
Oh.
Y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. Okay. Last thing we got to do then is we just got to make our equation. X squared or y squared first?
Y squared.
Up down is y squared first, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's y minus 2 quantity squared minus x minus 2 quantity squared. What goes under y? 9. What goes under x? 25. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
From the equations, when you went from like 6/5 to 4/5, is that when you moved to 10/5?
I added 10/5 to both sides. Yep. And I rewrote 2 here as 10/5 because of that fact. Because I knew I had to add this to both sides, and I did this distributive property in my head, and so I knew it was going to be in fifths. So 10/5 is really 2. These right here are the same. I just rewrote it.
How would you write it otherwise?
2. Homework tonight is to finish off that purple worksheet. It is due tomorrow. do whatever, anything ever in decimals.
I like that.
Do everything in fractions.
I